सभी को नमस्कार। भूखीलाल लहरचंद इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ इंडोलॉजी की मासिक व्याख्यान माला की इस श्रृंखला में आज के व्याख्यान का प्रारंभ हम मंगलाचरण से करेंगे। नमो अरिहंताणम, नमो सिद्धाणम, नमो आयर्याणम, नमो वज्झायाणम, नमो लोय सत्वसाहुणम। एसो पंच नमुक्कारो सर्व पावक प्रणाशनो मंगलाणं च वेसिम परमं भवै मंगलम। सभी को नमस्कार। भूखीलाल लहरचंद इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ इंडोलॉजी द्वारा आयोजित मासिक व्याख्यान माला की इस श्रृंखला में आज के 43वें व्याख्यान में आप सभी का हार्दिक स्वागत है। आज हमारा महनीय सौभाग्य है कि डॉक्टर शुभा मजमूदार जी हमारे मध्य में विषय प्रस्तुत करने के लिए उपस्थित है। उनके परिचय हेतु मैं भूखीलाल लहरचंद इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ इंडोलॉजी में प्रोफेसर एमेरिटस के रूप में सेवा दे रहे प्रोफेसर चंद्रशेखर जी को आमंत्रित करता हूँ। नमस्कार सर।
नमस्कार, जय जिनेन्द्र। अत्यंत हर्ष का विषय है कि भोगीलाल लहरचंद इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ इंडोलॉजी के द्वारा प्रतिमाह आयोजित किए जाने वाले इस मासिक व्याख्यान श्रृंखला में आज एक सुंदर सुगंधित पुष्प का ग्रथन होने जा रहा है 43वीं पुष्प के रूप में। और उसके जो मुख्य वक्ता हैं डॉक्टर शुभ मजूमदार, ये अपने शुभ कर्मों से और शुभ पथ से और शुभ कार्य से जाने जाते हैं। उनके विद्वत्पूर्ण व्याख्यान आज हम सुनेंगे। मैं उससे पहले अध्यक्ष महोदय की अनुमति से उनका एक छोटा सा सामान्य परिचय, जो काफी विस्तृत है इनका परिचय, लेकिन जो उन्होंने प्रेषित किया है 2 पन्ने का, तो उसमें भी थोड़ा सा विषय छांट कर मैं समय के मांग को देखते हुए बहुत संक्षेप में प्रस्तुत करना चाहूंगा, with the kind permission of the chairman of this meeting. Dr. Shubha Majumdar, presently working as a superintending archaeologist, Archaeological Survey of India, Vadodara Circle, a very young and talented, promising scholar in the field of archaeology, art and iconography. He has obtained his master degree in 2006 from University of Calcutta in archaeology. He has completed his doctoral research works on Jainism in ancient Bengal, a study on its archaeology, art and iconography from the Department of Archaeology, University of Calcutta. He has been credited for publishing more than 40 research papers on different aspects of art, iconography, and archaeology of Eastern and Central India in national and international journals. He has published 2 books, very famous, Jaina Heritage of Shara and Jainism in West Bengal, an archaeological approach. Very familiar books these 2 are. And edited a book, Pratna Darpan. And he has published, and this book has been published by the Anchalik Itihasik Lok Sanskritik Charcha Kendra, and he is the chief editor of a pre-reviewed journal, Iti Vrittanta. The journal name is Iti Vrittanta. He participated and explorations in the different parts of India in 2021-22. I am going brief with a due apologies. In 2015, he received Jaina Pura Tattva Prerana Award for the contribution in the field of Jaina art and archaeology in Eastern India from the Sri Bharat Varshiya Digambar Jain Mahasabha, New Delhi. And in 2018, he received the Sanskriti Sanrakshaka Award for the protected and conservation of Jaina heritage in Eastern from the Sri Bharatavarsha Digambar Jain Mahasabha Ranchi branch. In 2023, he received Nirmal Kumarji Sethi Memorial Award from Sethi Trust and Sri Bharatavarsha Digambar Jain Mahasabha, New Delhi. In 2022-23, he received prestigious award of Professor Sudhir Ranjan Das Smriti Puraskar from Vidyasagar University, Medinapur, West Bengal, for his contribution on Bengal art and archaeology. In 2023 and 24 and 2024 and 25, under his direction, major structural conservation works has been carried out at Raigad Fort, Shinawari Fort, Shindudurga Fort, Ranhala Fort, Sholapur Fort, Vijayadurga Fort, and Suvarnadurga Fort, Lohagad Fort, Kanheri Caves, and Bandapeshwara Caves, Junnar Group of Caves, and Yavi Devi Temple of Solapur, and other monuments under ASI, that means Archaeological Survey of India, Bombay Circle, Maharashtra. Under his direction, 3 interpretation cum museums established at Raigad Fort, and Panhala Fort, and Vijayadurga Fort. In spite of all this, in 2024 and 25, Government of India nominated 12 forts of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaja for World Heritage under his direction. 7 forts of Maharashtra under ASI Mumbai Circle has been restored and conserved. In July 2025, Maratha military landscape declared as UNESCO World Heritage Site. This is a very brief introduction about our speaker, Dr. Shubha Majumdar, and I would like to welcome and I would like to invite Dr. Shubha Majumdar for his nice presentation. Dr. Shubha Majumdar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. It is a really a great honor for me to present my research on a part of Eastern India, especially, which is basically neglected, not only in terms of archaeology but in all aspects. And I very fortunate that I have explored this area in 2013 to 2014 during my PhD terms. Though this part is not include my PhD, but I feel that this area need to more investigation for reconstruction the past heritage in respect of the Jainism, because the Jharkhand is a land where the Samet Sikarji is situated, but most of the cases the new construction of new Jain temple has been constructed in this area, but the scattered landscape of the Jharkhand area told but speak about the glorious past of the Jainism, because the Jainism was a stronghold during the time of from very early time, and during the time of Chandragupta Maurya, the Bihar, ancient Bihar, as well as the Bengal, because the Bengal also part of the land of the Bhadrabahu, and the Chandragupta Maurya was the strong patronage of the Jainism. However, the research basically in respect of the Jain to insert the Jainism in this area is not carried out properly. The various scholar has started like they have investigated different angle, like from during the time of British period also. The British scholar, they have also explored, and they only mention about the sculptural remains they have found. Sometimes the identification of the sculpture is also wrong. Some Jain images they found, but they identify as a Buddhist image. And later on also the Jain images converted and worship as a Brahmanical deity. And new Jain temple constructed, new images installed. But the grassroots, but the other remain. According to this, but I have choose the title from Tīrtha to ruins, means those time during the time of early medieval or 6th century or 5th century CE. Those area was a flourish Jain center, one of the major Tīrtha Khetra. But now it becomes a ruins. So I mentioned that from Tīrtha to ruins, a Jain sacred site in Eastern India. So in the presentation, I will try to highlight it about some sacred area, especially on a site which is known as the Bhula. The name of the site also denote that Bhula means in Bengali it very close to the forgotten. So the the name of the site also denote that we forgot its identity. So some scholar studied in different aspect of archaeology of this land, like Jharkhand, but especially the Jainism is not studied, and none of the site was also excavated for finding the Jain heritage. However, a different chance for different times, during the chance finding, different types of metal images, Jain metal images found, and some of the images presently kept in the Ranchi State Museum. But it required the reconstruction the past, because if we not reconstruction the past heritage of the Jainism, we only focus to establish the new temples in the different area, not only this Jharkhand but also in different area. So sometime it will happen that we lost our own identity, because these old new temples speak actually the modern item. However, if we focus, some focus also especially drawn towards our heritage, our ruins, and if we reconstruction, if we restore these ruins, it will speak our glorious past. So these are some basic information or write-up. I have tried to highlighted the point-wise information, and in different context, the statement regarding the stylistical features, because in this area, if you go through the study of the art and iconography of Eastern India, there are some major terminology like the Palashena school of art. But the sculptural art of the Jharkhand, basically the Jain, is not reflected by the royal patronage of the Palashena. It was basically reflected by the art tradition which evolved during the Gupta time in the Rajgir area. And during my I have also published some paper on the Rajgir Jain images, and it shows like the contemporary to the Sarnath, when the Sarnath school of art developed in the Rajgir area, the same time the Jain art was developed. But we always try to highlight about the Buddhist art of the Sarnath, but Jain art of the Sarnath not studied. But in the later period, like in the post-Gupta and the early medieval, we found the reflection of those art style which developed in the Rajgir area during the Gupta period, reflected its traditions in the later post-Gupta as well as the early medieval period. So it shows that in the Rajgir, a special type of art idiom style has been developed, which also affect in the art tradition of the Eastern India, especially the Chotanagpur Plateau area, because this area was not governed by any royal patronage. So if we study, I have already studied in a different major micro area, and in the micro region level, we have some differentiate from this particular zone to the other zone. So it shows that the artisan in that area, they develop themselves not influenced by the so-called Palashena school of art. They develop themselves, and the Jain art tradition and Jain art style also reach its climax during the early medieval period. So like the Hazaribagh area Dudhpani rock inscription, there is a Dudhpani rock inscription which mention about the two traders, brothers. They move towards the Tamlito for trading. So it has the indirect evidence the existence of the Jainism during the Gupta period and post-Gupta period onwards. And after that, we have found enough number of the scattered Jain images from the Jharkhand area as well as the Purulia and Bankura and up to the Mednapur. So it shows the traders, the movement of the traders by the using the small tributaries of the rivers like Damodar, Darakeshwar, Moirakshi. So they are not basically use the Ganga river. They basically use the small tributary river Damodar, Darakeshwar, Moirakshi, Ajay. So this along this river valley, we have found enough number of the sculptural elements. And another thing, like the Buddhist monk as well as like the Shaiva Acharya, the enough number of the existence of the Jain Acharya also indicate by the presence of different memorial stone. memorial pillar, as well as the Jain images carrying the depiction of the Acharya. So the presence of the Acharya, Jain Acharya or Muni, it indicates that the patronage, but the expansion of the Jain religious ideology, because this area actually occupied by the aboriginal people, means the downtrodden people. They are not the so-called higher society people, but as a result, the Brahmanical ideology, they are not accepted the properly the Brahmanical ideology. So when the Jain monk and Jain Acharya visited those area, they easily accept the Jain ideology, Jainism, and they still present in. If you visit the Purulia, Bankura, and the Jharkhand area, there is a common terminology used as a Swarag. The Swarag community actually the Jain community, though at present they are not directly Jain, but their day-to-day life, they are the vegetarian, and they also take the food in one time. So their habitation, their habit, their food habit, and their day-to-day life activity also indicate they has a close connection with the ancient Jainism. But due to the passage of time, the Jainism was they are now not worship the Jain images. However, their performance, their day-to-day life activity, it shows their connections with the Jainism. And we have found like these are the map showing the old map showing the area. These are the general feature of the Shikharji Giriridi district in Jharkhand. So these are the general features, but near to this, or we have the images of the Kolua, Jharkhand, which has a rock cut Jain images and seated in Dhyana Mudra as well as the Kayasarva posture. And not only the engrave of the images. If we explore the Kolua hill, there is some small type of the monastery evidence also, as well as some water bodies is there. So this area need to more explore, more excavations, or more scientific investigation. If we investigate this area, then we can find out the more evidence associated with the Jainism. This metal object hoard found from the Paragora area in East Singhbhum, and it is presently displayed in the Ranchi Museum. So the existence of this Jain idol, metal idol, indicate that the East Singhbhum area was stronghold of the Jainism. However, this was the chance finding, but however, we have not explored this area. If we explore those area, we may able to find out the Jain settlement, but Jain remains more and more remains from this area. This Jain Tirthankar Rishabhnath presently displayed in the Ranchi Museum. We have not know the exact fine parts of the images, but if we study the images, it is very beautiful image of the Rishabhnath. The bull is depicted in the center of the pedestal. If you see the Kayatasarga Mudra, the Tirthankar is standing in Kayatasarga Mudra, and in the both the side 24 miniature Tirthankar depicted, and near to the pedestal, the 8 Ashtograha, 8 Graha starting from the Surya, Mangal, Budh, Brihaspati, Shukra, Rahu, up to Rahu, they are depicted. So this is a very unique features which commonly found in the Chotanagpur Plateau area like Purulia, Bankura. This type of the Graha they depicted in the pedestal, and in the in the back slab. In the pedestal, you can see the bull is depicted and flanked by the two figure seated in Pranam Mudra. They are the devotee or they are the donor of these images. And the edge of this pedestal, you can see the two lion. It shows the Singhasana of these images. So this is a very beautiful image. Unfortunately, the face of the images is badly damaged, as well as the Chori bearers attendant also damages. This is another image of the Shantinath, Tirthankar Shantinath. The fine spot of the image is not known. However, in these images, both the side of the back slab, you see that the depiction of the Ashtograha depicted starting from the left side top from the Surya, Mangal, Budh, Surya, Mangal, Budh, Brihaspati, Shukra, Surya, and last right side lower half, the Rahu is depicted. So this Ashtograha depicted. An interesting thing that in the pedestal you can see the deer is depicted flanked by the again two devotee in the Pranam Mudra or the donor, but in the left side pedestal corner, it shows the depiction of an acharya is depicted, and in the right side corner, another devotee is depicted. So this images shows the existence of the acharya during the time of the during the early medieval or post Gupta period in this area. And these are some other small villages. During my exploration, I have explored this area: Tamar, Chokahatu, Tatari, Akshia, and we have found very beautiful images, metal images. Some of the images belong to the 14th, 15th century, some of the 17th century. So it indicates the continuation of the Jain ideology, but Jainism in that area, this tribal oriented area, and still they continue the worship. However, sometimes the images converted, but they still presently worship. And in the left side, in the right side below images, the Akshaya, the Parshanath, very beautiful images of Parshanath. And in the pedestal, you can see in the both the side, Dhanendra and Padmavati Yakshi is depicted with the snake. And in the pedestal, 9 Navagraha is depicted. You can see the small head is depicted. Like in the Akota, we have also found same type of the bronze images with Ashtograha or Navagraha depiction. Same type of we have found from the Akshaya. Some other images, burial. It is a burial ground, but from in this village we have also found some Jain images. Like these are the memorial stone from the Palkeri. The memorial stone in the right side memorial stone, the Ambika image is depicted, and left side the Jain parents and some memorial stone containing the Tirthankar without any symbol. So it clearly identify this memorial stone dedicated to the concerned Jain devotee or acharya. So in the memory, this type of the memorial stone erected. So this tradition is also present in the Chotanagpur area, in the Purulia area. We have found some other site also with good number of this type of the memorial stone, and which is closely associated with the Jainism, Jain Acharya. You can see these are the some memorial stone from Palkeri. Now the major site, which is known as the Bhula, I have already told. The site name of the site also itself suggests that the site has lost its own identity. And from this image, you can realize that all the images not in the proper context. During our visit, we have tried to identify, try to ask the local people from where they collected. They told that they have collected those images from the nearby area of the villages of this village, particular village Bula. And presently all the images kept in within a Shamshan Bhumi, because they believe those images as a Gram Devata, and they worship those images. Among these images, most of the images are the Jainism. 23 images we have the Jainism. 1 or 2 images we have found the Vishnu, and 1 broken image of the Buddhist deity, and 1 Uma Maheshwar images. So in the later phase, the Brahmanical ideology also mixed with the Jainism, but at present day they are not worship those images as a Jainism. They only worship these images as a Gram Devata, as a protected deity. And you can understand, realize that how this site was survived during the early medieval period. So there must be that we have found the temple remains, means architectural remains. So it clear-cut indicate that there must be 1 or 2 or 3 Jain temple is there. Probably the Panchayatam type temple was there, and after the demolition, after the damage of the temple, they collected those images and kept these images in a single area. And they kept these images in a single area, and they presently worship. So unfortunately, all the images lost its own identity. The close-up, I have tried to show the close-up of the images. Due to the weather activity, the sharpness or all the images, the sharpness of the images is lost. However, it is able to identify the images. All 3 images identify as a Rishabhnath, because the hairlock of the Tirthankara is identified, the touch of the shoulder, and all these images is the Chobishi type images, because in the back slab of the images there are the 24 miniature Tirthankara, and after the below the Tirthankara the Navagraha panel, Navagraha image is also depicted, and in the center the left side image, the center bull is also shown. However, in the right side, the half portion of the pedestal is buried. And you can see the another view of the Rishabhnath. You can recognize the how beautiful the hairdress. Unfortunately, the face and the hair skull is also damaged. Both the hand of the image is also damaged. And another Rishabhnath images. So another images you can see the hair this hairlock is also shown. Some we have tried to expose, but the lower part they are the cemented, and this left side right side images of Shantinath. I will show the close up. This is very beautiful images. These images belong to the Tirthankara Shantinath. You can see the deer in the pedestal flanked by the two lions. The most interesting thing is that the Tirthankara standing in Kayatasarga posture, and in the both the side of the back slab Ashtograha depicted, and below the Ashtograha I show the close up. The left side the Ganga and right side the Yamuna with Makara is depicted. So this figure is very rare, because none of the till date I have not found any Jain images belong to this type of the feature with Ganga Yamuna. It shows that the image itself as they worship as a temple, because if we entered in the temple, in the both the side of the images in a temple, most of the time depicted the Ganga and Yamuna, because it purify ourselves to enter into the temple. If we visit the Maladevi temple in the Bhopal, you will find this type of the images in the door jamb, the Ganga Yamuna in the Jain temple. But in this case, this is not a temple, but in a single images, in image, both the side of the images, they depicted the Ganga and Yamuna, and with the planetary deities. So itself, but it shows that sometime in all the images not kept in a major temple, it is also worshipped in the house. So household as a house deity. So they worship these images within their house, and the image itself is created as a temple with the presence of the Ganga and Yamuna. And in the pedestal also small inscription is there, but unfortunately it is not identified. Probably the name of the donor is mentioned. This is another image. This is not Rishabhnath. This is not identify, because without the lanchan of the Tirthankara, it is not able to identify, and the hairlock also not touch the shoulder. So this Tirthankara is not identified, but this is the Tirthankara images. And another important thing, that the back slab of the images shows the miniature temple shrine. You can see the back slab, the top part of the images. It is a Piradeol type of the temple, and the top there must be a kalasha. Unfortunately, this kalasha was damaged, and so it also shows that the Tirthankar standing within a temple. And the right side also, the right side upper part image is the Rishabhnath images. Lower part image also Rishabhnath, because the hairlock and the Jata Mukut is clearly visible. Though the image is aberrated, but the Jata Mukut is clearly visible. And these two Tirthankara is not, upper two Tirthankara is not identified, because the lanchan is not clear. But in the left side images, the Pancha Tirthika type image, because in the back slab only 4 miniature Tirthankara are depicted, and the center the main Mulanayaka standing in Kayatasarga posture, and the second one the Tirthankara standing in Kayatasarga posture, and probably the Chobishi type, because only the 4 miniature Tirthankara are visible, and upper part probably the remaining, and the remaining part of the back slab also contain the planetary deities. So the depiction of the planetary deities in both the slab, back slab of the images, is a general tendency in the Eastern Indian school of art, which mainly developed in the Rajgir and later on influenced in the Jharkhand as well as the Bengal. In the lower part images, this is the image of the actually Ombika, the Yakshi of the Tirthankar Neminath, standing in Divanga posture, with holding a small child in her two child also depicted, though the face of the images is badly mutilated, but the back slab of the images clearly shows the mango tree, depiction of the mango trees. And this is a very beautiful image. Left side, the Jain tutelary couple or Jain parents. UP shall identify as a Jain tutelary couple or parents. Means father and mother of the Jain Tirthankara. And the top of the tree, the concerned Tirthankara depicted. And in the pedestal also, some social scene also depicted. And both the images, the parents, mother and father, they seated in a couch. And the right side images also is a Rishabhnath images. You can see the Jata Mukuto, and it is a Chaubishi type images, the miniature Tirthankara, four in a row, three in a four row depicted in the both the side of the Tirthankara. And this is another locations, same area Bhula. Just a few area from this area we have found this beautiful images. This is also the image of the Rishabhnath, but unfortunately the head of the image is badly damaged. This is also the Chaubishi type images, and also the small miniature Tirthankara depicted, and the pedestal in the near to the pedestal, the Ashtogroh is also depicted, and the two highly visual, the Chauri bearers also depicted in the both the side of the Tirthankara. You can see the imagine the door jamb of a temple, but it was presently used as a door jamb of a modern house. So how the context of the temple or the context of the sculpture lost, and it was reused by some person to build his own house entrance gateway. So this shows that the ruins of this sacred land of this Tīrtha nowadays, and the sculpture, the architectural member scattered in the different area. So we lost our own Tīrtha. And this is another site, Pavanpur, very close to the site Bhula, because I have told now that exact find spot, exact temple area was not found. So probably nearby area like the Bhula, Pavanpur, Dighi, these are the very close proximity area within the 5 or 6 kilometer area. We have found this type of the images in scattered way. The another locality known as Pavanpur, and in this area also we have in the two locality we have found this is another upper part of a Tirthankara unidentified, and this is another image, seated images. These are very beautiful images of the probably the Rishabhnath, because the bull is depicted in the pedestal. This is a Dhyana Mudra posture, very rare type of the rare type, because mainly we have found the Kayasarva posture. However, we have also found the Dhyana Mudra images from this area. And this is another temple known as the Devaltan. I have mainly choose the two area, like one is the Bhula area and another is the Devaltan, because this is one of the important Jain center. And if we explore this area, the community of this area, nearby area is basically the Sharad, and there is a temple at present, but unfortunately the temple has renovated, and as a renovated, the temple lost its identity, because we have already colored those area, colored the temple, and also colored the stone sculpture, and the total temple lost its ancient heritage. So and in the door jamb in this temple, I have shown the arrow mark in this area. The door jamb is clearly shown. This type of the door jamb I have already shown, so it is also without context, and you can see in this area the door jamb in the context, but the other part of the area they have already plastered and color. So this type of the activity also damage the heritage. So within this temple, these images kept and worship, and this photograph taken in the 2013. But if you visit this site at present day, you are not seen all the images fixed in the diwal, back wall and plastered, and the modern marble has been placed. So this activity is very bad for preserving our heritage, because in that time the marble and the cement plaster not done by our ancestors, so they are doing the conservation work by the construction of the structure by the stone, by using the stone or lime plaster. But however, for the modernize, we have done the modern activity. So these are the very beautiful. You can see the realize the how beautiful image these Rishabhnath images. All 4 images associated with the Rishabhnath, and these are very beautiful and very life size images. And you can imagine the Jata Mukuto, the in the Bhula images, due to the bad condition and the weather condition, we are not properly shown the Jata Mukuto, but this clearly image shown the how beautiful, how look like the Jata Mukuto. You can, this is the close up figure of the images, and the how shining is there. But and in the pedestal, the Chakreshwari is also depicted, which is also very rare, because in eastern India, the Yakshi, the constant Tirthankara, Gomukh and Chakreshwari of the Rishabhnath, not depicted in the pedestal. This feature commonly found in the central India and the north India as well as the western India. But in eastern India, Yakshi not depicted in the pedestal. In the pedestal, only the Lanchan of the Tirthankara depicted, flanked by the 2 devotee or the donor, and as well as the some lion is depicted. So it is interesting that in this case they also depicted the Chakreshwari, the Yakshi of the Tirthankara. So this type of the small variation or the micro regional variation, it's shown in this case. So this type of the investigation or micro level study required to identify, to trace the development, but to trace the Jain art style of this area. If we reconstruction the art style of the area, this micro level investigation is required. So these images, the other 2 images of the Rishabhnath, you can see the face is also badly damaged, but the Jata Mukuto is clearly shown. And in this case also, this is the Chaubishi, both the cases, the Chaubishi type images, and after the Chaubishi images depiction, the planetary deities of the 8 planetary deities, Ashtograha, they depicted. In this case, both the cases the Ashtograha depicted. So that this tradition, the depiction of the Groho tradition, or up to the Ashtograha, not Ketu, mainly the up to the Rahu they depicted. No Ketu was depicted. Later on also we found the Ketu, but basically in this area we have found up to the Rahu. And this feature is really important, that that in this area this type of the feature commonly found, and later on this is also reflected in the later sculpture of the Purulia and Bankura region. So this is very unique and very important information. And this is another images. In this image also you can see the Chaubishi type images. However, the planetary deities is not depicted. In place of the planetary deities, you can see that the 2 female figure, male and female, the donor couple also depicted. So this shows that the donation means, in some images also Purulia, we have found that the community donation means family donation. We have found a series of 4 images, 4 miniature images that depicted. So it shows that the family donation. So when family donation found, like the Shikharji, we have our one of the major Jain center in particular time, like a Jain family, they visited the site, and like the whole family they visited the site, and then they donated. So this, if this area is designated as a like Sri Khetra or the major Jain pilgrimage center, then it will be happen that the common public or the family, they visited those area and they donated those images. So it shows that this site, but this area locality must be flourish as one of the major pilgrimage center, Jain pilgrimage center during that time. However, due to the passage of time, the structure converted, the image also converted, and image lost its own identity and now worship as a Brahmanical or worship as a local folk deity. This is another site. It is basically Patkun Museum, Chandil. If you know that the Chandil, there is a stone barrage or stone dam was constructed. During the construction of the stone dam, a good number of the Jain sites submerged, like in Telkupi. In Telkupi, West Bengal, also a good number of the Jain temples submerged. only our Daden Director General Devala Mitra Madam has documented, and we have one monograph on Telkupi. Except those monograph, at present, the two temple in standing in very ruined conditions within the river bed. I have already submit the proposal in the different organization to save those temple, but this temple not protected by the ASI or state government. But this temple must be required to the protect, because it shows the connection of the Jainism. And like the Telkupi, this Chandil Dam also damaged a good number of the Jain site in the nearby area. But the agency has constructed a small collection or museum just above the dam area, and in this area they have collected those sculpture found from the nearby area. So this beautiful image of the Tirthankara Shantinath, this is kept in this image, in this uh, museum. In this case also, you can see in the both the side of the pedestal, the 24 miniature Tirthankara depicted, and just below this miniature Tirthankara, the Ashtogroho up to Rahu is depicted. And in the pedestal, it is very interesting that the deer is depicted, flanked by the two Punno Patro, means offer the bhog, maybe dedicated to the god, and one miniature Tirthankara is also depicted in the right side, and the left side one figure depicted, probably it is the Yaksha of the Tirthankara. But in the right side, the miniature Tirthankara may be the prince as a Shantinath, as during his dhyana is also depicted, or it is any acharya they have depicted in the pedestal. And this is another image of the Rishabnath. In this image, only the Ashtogroho depicted in the both the side of the back slab, and in the pedestal. Oh, sorry, this is the Shantinath image. The pedestal, the deer is also depicted with the floral motif. You can see the both the side, the chori bearers is lost. So basically, from this side, and this is another images of the Jain Tirthankara. It is badly damaged and crude images. It shows the later period also, during the medieval period also, they also constructed the Jain images. So it shows the continuity of the Jainism. And these are some architectural member we have found from the different area of the Chandil area, and they have collected those area. You can see that these are barrage and these are river. The river actually damages those sides. So from this presentation, I have tried to show about the existence of the Jain Tirtha during the time of the post-Gupta and early medieval period, which due to the passage of time, the Tirtha Khetra lost his own identity, and now we lost our own heritage, and the images and the sculptural image dedicated to the Jainism, and now presently worship in some other identity, and the structural elements also lost his own identity. So gradually we lost our own heritage, and we does not know about our ancient Tirtha Kshetra in this part of the land. So more and more investigation is required to explore this area, because this land is very much potential to find out the more evidence, more information about the Jainism, because this was one of the strong center of the Jainism in Eastern India. And later on also, during the time of the Islam invention, the Jainism is still survive in this land. So if you explore the area, then we can find out the continuity of the Jainism in this area during the time of the Islamic invention also. And the art tradition which we found in this area is basically not influenced by the Palestinian school of art. It is mainly the regional variation of the art style, which basically developed in this Chotanagpur Plateau area, like the Purulia, Bankura, and this part of the Jharkhand, and which is partially influenced by the Rajgir school of art, which developed during the time of the Gupta period, and later on influenced this regional art tradition. And this regional art tradition has also some micro-regional variation. If we study those images, like the depiction of the Yaksha, depiction of the Yakshi, the presence of the Acharya in the images, the presence of the Ashtogroho. So these small evidences indicate that some micro-regional variation, which also required to study if we study the area as a comprehensive matter. So this is my small submission. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my views and share my research with the esteemed member. Thank you.
मैं अपने भोगीलाल लहरचंद इंस्टीट्यूट की तरफ से आपके प्रति बहुत कृतज्ञता ज्ञापित करता हूँ कि ऐसे दुर्गम स्थलों में जाकर के और आपने हमारे उपेक्षित जो मूर्तियां हैं उनका इतिहास प्रदर्शित किया है। अब मैं अध्यक्षी उद्बोधन के पहले कुछ प्रश्न भी हम लोग लेने की परंपरा है, यदि कोई हैंड रेज करते हैं तो प्रश्न अपने उपस्थित कर सकते हैं। कोई हैंड रेज किया है क्या? देखिए व्यवसाय जी।
नहीं सर, अभी तक किसी ने नहीं किया है। केवल एक ओपन एंडेड क्वेश्चन है नरेंद्र जी का चैट में कि व्हाट कैन वी डू टू हेल्प कंजर्व एंड एक्सप्लोर एंड आइडेंटिफाई explore more to identify our heritage.
Sir, for explore the more heritage like this type of the you have an institute. So if the institute at encourage the student, not only this Jharkhand, like in Gujarat also, because after UP Shah's study, the archaeology of the Jainism and not done in this area, like literature and other thing that, but in the area also, I have during my exploration I have found that in Modera area and the other part of area the Jain images also scattered in a very bad condition. So if we encourage the young generation for research on Jain aspect, different aspect of the Jainism, so then we can document those images, and then after the documentation we can propose for the museums or the sculptural shed or the nearby area. So this will be help us to save our heritage. Otherwise, if gradually, like in Bengal, I have seen that most of the cases the Jain images, they have lost his own identity and it converted, and they presently worship as a different religious ideology.
उसके बाद बोलिए
sir. Are there any literary evidences about these places, sir?
Sir, not literally evidences, because only the Dudhpani rock inscription mention about the traders movement from the Jharkhand or this area to the Tamralipto. However, during the archaeological exploration, we have found those images, and in case of Eastern India, I have told that in Eastern India we have not found any royal patronage, direct royal patronage. As a result, the local traders, the Jain traders, and they are actually the sponsor. They are actually the spread the Jainism in that area, as well as the Jain Acharya. As a result, without the royal connections, we have not found the major inscription like in the South India and Eastern India. In the Western India, we have found the most of the images has the inscription donated by person. But in case of Eastern India, only the name of the donor is sometimes mentioned without any inscription. Archaeological Survey of India, like I have presently work in Archaeological Survey of India, but Archaeological Survey of India basically they have explored that they have mainly their duty to preserve the monument which already declared as a national monument. So sometimes the different archaeological offices like in Jharkhand also, they also explore as a village to village survey, and they also submit the report. So they have explored the area, they have reported. But for safeguard, for protect those images, the local level involvement is required, like the district level involvement is required, and those images need to the registered by the ancient Archaeological Art Treasure Act, because if we not registered, then it will be maybe the major part of the smuggler to send those images in the foreign. So there is another dangerous way. Without registration, without safeguard, the images also transfer from the India to the outside, and you know that at present, due to the privilege of our honorable Prime Minister, we are able to repatriate a good number of the sculpture which earlier theft from the different side of the India, and we are able to retrieve those images from the different country.
चलिए, आपके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और हमारे बीच में प्रोफेसर जेबी शाह जी उपस्थित हैं। आप पूरा कला, दर्शन, धर्म और आगम के अच्छे ज्ञाता हैं, और उन्हीं की प्रेरणा से हमको आपका आज का व्याख्यान सुनने को प्राप्त हुआ है। तो हम चाहते हैं कि उनके अध्यक्षीय उद्बोधन से हम लोग उपकृत हों। आदरणीय जीतू भाई जी।
प्रणाम। मैं सबसे पहले प्रोफेसर शुभा मजमुदार का धन्यवाद करता हूं कि एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण व्याख्यान आज हमें सुनने को मिला। प्रोफेसर मजमुदार की ख्याति पूर्व में जैन धर्म के विषय में गहन अध्ययन, स्थापत्य शिल्प आदि के विषय में रहा है। हमने आज जो झारखंड और बंगाल में कुछ पुराने नगर के अंदर जो नष्ट हो रहे हैं ऐसे शिल्प और स्थापत्य का परिचय किया। ये बहुत ही कष्ट साध्य अध्ययन है कि छोटे छोटे गांवों में और जहां पहुंचना मुश्किल होता है वैसी जगह पर जा करके हमारे प्राचीन जो कला के अवशेष बचे हुए उसका डॉक्यूमेंटेशन करना, उसको हम लोगों तक पहुंचाना, ये एक बहुत बड़ा काम है। और ऐसा एक काम प्रोफेसर मजमुदार ने किया है। आज हमने ये सारे उनके जो स्लाइड्स हैं, उनका जो अध्ययन है इतिहास और स्थापत्य के विषय में, उसका बहुत ही अच्छी तरह हमें जानने को मिला है। प्राचीन काल में बंगाल पूर्व का एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण केंद्र था। हम जानते हैं कि हमारे अधिकतर तीर्थंकर पूर्व में ही हुए हैं और उन्होंने विचरण किया है। कई चीजें उनके स्मृति में मंदिर, स्थापत्य, शिल्प आदि का निर्माण किया। हमारे पूर्वजों ने, हमारे श्रेष्ठियों ने बहुत मेहनत करके जो शिल्प बनाया था, वो जब जैनियों का जैन श्रावक श्राविका और साधुओं का स्थलांतर होता रहा, मतलब पूर्व से उत्तर की तरफ और फिर उत्तर से दक्षिण की तरफ जब स्थलांतर हुआ तो स्थिति पलट गई। जो शिल्प और स्थापत्य का निर्माण पूर्व में हुआ था उसकी रक्षा करना, उसका सम्मार्जन करना कठिन होने लगा। शिल्प और स्थापत्य तो बचे लेकिन खंडित अवस्था में हमें आज मिल रहे हैं। एक बहुत बड़ी बात यह भी है कि वहाँ के मतलब झारखंड और बिहार के कई जैन धर्म के अनुयायी आज सराग के रूप में मौजूद है, लेकिन उन लोगों को यह पता नहीं है कि सराग का क्या अर्थ होता है, उनके पूर्वजों ने कौन से धर्म का अनुसरण किया था और वो क्या करते थे। पिछले 10-15 साल में सराग जाति में जागृति लाने के लिए बहुत सारे काम हो रहे हैं, लेकिन जिस तरह से होने चाहिए उस तरह से अभी भी नहीं हो रहे हैं। बहुत कुछ काम करने जैसे हैं। बहुत सारे मंदिर और बहुत सारे अवशेषों का डॉक्यूमेंटेशन करना अभी भी बाकी है। इस विषय में जो कार्य शोभा मजमुदार ने किया है निश्चित रूप से वह प्रशंसनीय है, स्तुत्य है। इस प्रकार के कार्य हम होने चाहिए। इससे हमारी प्राचीन संस्कृति और हमारा इतिहास सुरक्षित रहता है। और एक बात ये भी है कि हमारी ये जो कला, शिल्प और स्थापत्य की कला और भी विचरण करती हुई पूर्व में गई थी और वहां पे बहुत बड़े बड़े मंदिरों का निर्माण हुआ। जैसे अंकोर वाट है, बोरोबुदुर है, शैव मंदिर है। इस प्रकार के बड़े मंदिर जब हम देखते हैं तो हमें आश्चर्य होता है। और वो सारे ये जो पूर्व के हमारे शिल्प और जो स्थपति थे वो वहां जाकर के इनका निर्माण किया था। संयोग ये है कि बोरोबुदुर जैसा मंदिर कुछ अर्थक्वेक के कारण, भूकंप के कारण नष्ट हुआ है, फिर भी बहुत कुछ बचा हुआ है। शिव मंदिर भी काफी बचा हुआ है, काफी कुछ रुइन हो गया है, लेकिन उसके लिए वहाँ के सरकार और हमारी सरकार प्रयत्नरत है। ये हमें यह दर्शाता है कि हमारी जो शिल्प और स्थापत्य कला कितनी विस्तृत थी, कितनी फैली हुई थी, और हमारे स्थपतियों ने देश विदेश में जाकर के हमारी संस्कृति का उद्घोष किया था। जैन धर्म जो पूर्व में, और अभी एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण लेक्चर हमें मजमूदार से सुनने की अपेक्षा रखते हैं कि जो बांग्लादेश में जैन धर्म के बहुत सारे अवशेष हमें मिलते हैं। काफी कुछ नष्ट कर दिया लोगों ने, फिर भी अभी जो बचा है उसका अध्ययन मजमूदार ने बहुत अच्छी तरह किया हुआ है, और श्रीलंका के भी विषय में उनका बहुत अच्छा अध्ययन है। भविष्य में हम प्रोफेसर शुभा मजमूदार के द्वारा ये दोनों विषयों पर एक एक लेक्चर की हमारी प्रतीक्षा रहेगी। और आज जो कार्य कर रहे हैं उनके मन में जो हमारी भारतीय संस्कृति, शिल्प, स्थापत्य के विषय में बहुत बड़ी चिंता है, जो बात हमने आज के इस लेक्चर में भी सुनने को मिली कि किस तरह से हमारा शिल्प नष्ट हो रहा है, इतिहास नष्ट हो रहा है, और उसके द्वारा हम जो हमारे प्राचीन इतिहास को खो रहे हैं। और उससे भी गंभीर बात तो यह है कि हमें उस विषय में जरा भी चिंता नहीं है, हम उसके प्रति चिंतित नहीं है। गुजरात में रहते हुए मजमूदार जी ने यहाँ के शिल्प और स्थापत्य, पूर्व और पश्चिम के स्थापत्य में जो भिन्नता पाई जाती है उनका भी अध्ययन कर रहे हैं कि पूर्व में किस प्रकार के विलक्षणता दिखाई देती है और पश्चिम में किस प्रकार की विलक्षणता है। वहाँ जब कोई अभिलेख लिखा जाता है तो उसमें किस प्रकार का उल्लेख होता है, और पश्चिम में जब उल्लेख किया जाता है तो तीर्थंकर के नाम, उसके लांछन, उसके निर्माता के नाम, प्रतिष्ठा करने वाले का नाम, प्रतिष्ठाचार्य का नाम, ये सब विस्तार से हमें उल्लेख मिलता है। और वो चाहते हैं कि इस प्रकार का अध्ययन अलग अलग संस्थानों में होना चाहिए, जिससे हम अपने संस्कृति के प्रति युवा जनमानस को प्रेरित कर सके, प्रोत्साहित कर सके, और आने वाली कल के लिए हम एक नया वर्ग खड़ा कर सके जो शिल्प, कला और स्थापत्य के प्रति बहुत ही रुचि रखता हूँ। एक गौरव की बात गुजरातियों के लिए अच्छी है कि उन्होंने यूपी शाह, उमाकांत पी शाह का उल्लेख किया। उमाकांत पी शाह, यूपी शाह ने इस विषय में बहुत बड़ा काम किया हुआ है, और उनके लेख, उनके आर्टिकल्स आज भी विश्व भर में उद्धृत किया जाता है। उनके समय निर्धारण और उनके स्थापत्य के प्रति जो उसका बहुत बड़ा योगदान है, उसको आज भी विद्या जगत में स्मरण में लिया जाता है। एक दूसरे भी आर्कियोलॉजी और स्थापत्य के विषय में बहुत बड़ा काम करने वाले विद्वान प्रोफेसर मधुसूदन ढाकी भी रहे। उन्होंने एनसाइक्लोपीडिया ऑफ इंडियन टेम्पल आर्ट एंड आर्किटेक्चर बहुत बड़ा काम किया है। इस दिशा में एक आदर्श माना जा सकता है। अमेरिकन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ इंडियन स्टडीज में ये पूरे वॉल्यूम छपे हैं। पूरे जीवन भर प्रोफेसर ढाकी ने एक ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण कार्य किया, जो आने वाले युग में ये आश्चर्य रहेगा कि एक आदमी ने अपने जीवन में कितना बड़ा काम किया है। लेकिन आज जो बात मजमूदार ने की है वो इतनी गंभीर, महत्वपूर्ण और आने वाले समय के लिए हमें जागृत करने वाली है कि हमें आज की पीढ़ी को जगाना चाहिएगा। हमें अपने शिल्प स्थापत्य को सुरक्षित रखना होगा, उसको सुरक्षित जगह पर रखना होगा, तो हम अपने इतिहास को, हमारे शिल्प को, हमारे स्थापत्य को और आगे चलकर ये जो सराक जाति है उसका भी हम अच्छी तरह संरक्षण कर पाएंगे। मैं इस विषय में जो शुभा मजमूदार ने जो कार्य किया है उसकी बहुत बहुत प्रशंसा करता हूँ, धन्यवाद देता हूँ। और भविष्य में हमें इस विषय पर अन्य और भी लेक्चर सुनने को मिलेगा, इस अपेक्षा के साथ मैं मेरा ये अध्यक्षीय उद्बोधन समाप्त करता हूँ। विजय जी आप म्यूट हो। विजय जी म्यूट हो आप।
हाँ जी, चलिए।
हाँ जी बोलिए।
मैं आज अपने दोनों महान वक्ताओं के प्रति कृतज्ञता ज्ञापित कर रहा हूं कि आप पहले वक्ता जैसे हमारे मुख्य वक्ता थे, उन्होंने पूरा एक परिचय दिखाया है जो उपेक्षित हमारे तीर्थ थे और उनकी मूर्तियां थी, और जीवंतता का भी उन्होंने दर्शन कराया कि वहाँ के सराक किस तरह से अभी जीवन शैली में श्रावक जो हमारा धर्म है जैन परंपरा का, कि मांस ना खाना, रात्रि भोजन ना करना और मतलब एक बार भोजन करना, इस तरह की चर्या का अभी भी पालन कर रहे हैं। तो हमको दोनों लोगों के प्रति चिंता करनी चाहिए कि जीवंतता, जो जीवंत है हमारे श्रावक हैं उनकी भी चिंता करनी चाहिए, और जो हमारे अवशेष हैं उनकी भी चिंता करनी चाहिए। और इसके लिए कुछ प्रयास हुए हैं समाज के द्वारा सराक उद्धार करने के लिए, कुछ समाज में 20 साल 25 साल पहले, लेकिन वो पर्याप्त नहीं है। उनकी शिक्षा का अच्छी तरह से प्रबंध हो जाए तो निश्चित रूप से उससे हमारे जैन धर्म का गौरव भी बढ़ेगा, क्योंकि जो लोग बिछुड़ गए हैं हमसे उनके प्रति हमारी एक अनुकंपा भाव भी हो सकता है और उनको हम एक मार्ग में ला सकते हैं। यह काम बहुत जरूरी है। तो आज हमारा यह जो व्याख्यान है ये रिकॉर्डेड रहता है, यूट्यूब के माध्यम से कभी भी सुना देखा जा सकता है। तो इस दृष्टि से भले ही श्रोता कम होते हैं, लेकिन भविष्य में जब भी कोई शोध संदर्भ की बात आती है तो हम लोग रेफर कर देते हैं कि आप अमुक ना अमुक व्याख्यान हमारा देखिए, और एक बहुत बड़े संदर्भ के रूप में हमको उसकी प्राप्ति हो जाती है। तो जैसा कि जीतू भाई जी ने कहा कि अभी आपसे 2 व्याख्यान और अपेक्षित हैं मजमूदार साहब। एक आपको बांग्लादेश को लेकर के आपने बताया है, बांग्लादेश को लेकर के, बांग्लादेश में जो हमारे जैन अवशेष हैं वो बहुत ही लोगों को इंटरेस्टिंग होगा, क्योंकि पाकिस्तान के द्वारा जो मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट है वो हमारे भोगीलाल लहरचंद इंस्टीट्यूट में संग्रहित है। तो इस तरह की सूचना हमारे अगर संस्थान में अगर आती है तो हमारा हमारे सभी श्रोताओं का भी उपकार होगा। इसके साथ ही मैं अपने सभी श्रोता बिंदुओं के प्रति भी कृतज्ञता ज्ञापित करता हूँ। बनारस हिंदू यूनिवर्सिटी से प्रोफेसर बिमलेंद्र कुमार जी जुड़े हुए हैं, इसी तरह से प्रोफेसर कनिक दास जी हैं, मोहन पांडे जी हैं, डॉक्टर मृदुला जी हैं, कविता लुणावत, माधुरी काले जी, प्रोफेसर संजीव शराफ जी, सुदीप कुमार जी, योगेश शाह जी और उत्तम सिंह जी, बहुत सारे हमारे जो वक्ता है जुड़े रहे, उनके प्रति हम कृतज्ञता ज्ञापित करते हैं कि इनके कारण से भी यह हमारी श्रृंखला 43 हमारा यह जो 43वां व्याख्यान था। तो इस तरह से हम अच्छे अच्छे विद्वानों को सुन पा रहे हैं। जीतू भाई के प्रति कृतज्ञता ज्ञापित करते हैं कि वो चुन चुन करके पूरे, खाली भारत से नहीं पूरे विश्व से, कभी कभी तो बाहर के विद्वानों का भी हम लोगों को लाभ दिलाते हैं। और हम पुनः आशा करते हैं श्री मजमूदार जी से कि वो हमारे इस व्याख्यान माला को आगे बढ़ाएंगे, और सभी श्रोताओं के प्रति भी हम कृतज्ञता ज्ञापित करते हैं। सभी को धन्यवाद।